Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper. Just doing a follow-up video on my last LifeStraw video, just to kind of show the differences of the Sawyer Mini and the LifeStraw, and why I chose the Sawyer Mini over the LifeStraw when it comes to a miniature straw-style survival filter. I just wanted to make sure there was a little bit more information in this video, a little bit more, I guess, science behind the video. We'll do some basic experiments to kind of show the differences to see which one maybe has an edge on the other. And we'll go over the information provided by the manufacturers as well as some aftermarket testing just to kind of verify the different reasons I have behind choosing the Sawyer Mini over the LifeStraw. As you can see, I've got a Sawyer Mini right here. This one's brand new out of the package, as well as this LifeStraw, which is also brand new. So we're going to test both of them, see how they operate, and then we'll go ahead and let you decide some of your own conclusions there. Okay, so here you have a closer look at both the Sawyer Mini as well as the original LifeStraw. Both of them work the same way in principle as a suction-based water filter device. They both use a microbiological hollow fiber membrane system to filter out anything above 0.1 or 0.2 microns depending on the filter. It pulls water through these tiny straws that have holes punctured in them, and the holes only allow for things smaller than 0.1 or 0.2 microns to come through. So that prevents things like protozoa or bacteria or microplastics from getting through into the water that you're drinking. Now you can see the LifeStraw and the Sawyer Mini are both very similar in fashion. They're both basically a straw-style device, so you have a filter side on one end and then you have a mouthpiece side on the other. The LifeStraw is a all-in-one unit, so once you buy it, that's all you get. You also have the lanyard attachment here on the back. The Sawyer Mini operates in a very similar fashion. It has a filter side and then it also has a mouthpiece right here. The filter side is also threaded for 28mm threads, which is the same threading you get on a standard water bottle or soda bottle. And they also fit right onto this Mylar squeeze system that it comes with. The Mylar pouch can hold 16 ounces of water. You can fill it with your contaminated water and then squeeze the water out through the filter into another container, or you can attach the filter to it and drink directly from it. So it's made out of Mylar, it's very durable, and it is nice to have a 16-ounce canteen with you that can fold up, use very little space, and also be used to transport filtered water from one vessel to another. The Sawyer Mini also comes with a straw attachment, which once attached down here on the filter side, actually turns it into the same basic concept as the LifeStraw. So you can just stick this into a contaminated water system, or you can put this into another container, maybe of an Nalgene bottle or something of that sort, and then it works just the same way as the LifeStraw. It also comes with the Backwash Syringe. So the Backwash Syringe then in fact helps clean the membranes out inside of the filtration system and extends the life of the filter basically longer than if you weren't to use one of these at all. The Sawyer Mini also can be installed as an inline filter system for a water bladder. So if you have a hydration pack, you can actually go ahead and splice the tubing into the two ends here of the Sawyer Mini and have a permanent filtration solution built right into your water bladder. So if that's something that interests you, then the Sawyer Mini is going to be great, whereas the LifeStraw doesn't have that capability. So those are the main differences of what comes right out of the package with these products. They're basically the same in principle, but they do have a lot of different moving parts. So what we'll go ahead and do is talk about their similarities and differences now, and then we'll move on to doing just a basic experiment to see if either one has a little bit of an edge over the other and filtering out tannins or turbidity or anything else like that, which is why we have our Tds meter here. The Tds is total dissolvable solids within water supply, and we're going to go ahead and see if either one of the filters can, remove some more of the total dissolved solids out of a water system that we have, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and compare the similarities and differences of these two products. They both work very much the same way in principle. They're suction-based water filters. They're going to take care of everything that's in the water that you don't want in there when it comes to anything above the size of 0.1 or 0.2 microns. And they both have a very similar price point. So, after we talk about the similarities, I think the differences will explain why I favor the Sawyer Mini over the LifeStraw. However, they both will work if there's a situation where you need to filter out some water. So we'll go ahead and start with the fact that they both remove bacteria, parasites, and microplastics. They're not rated for removing viruses or heavy metals because they don't have carbon filtration systems inside. So if that's what you're mostly concerned about, then you're going to want to find a little bit more of a sturdy or a durable filter. But if you're just worried about getting your typical Giardias or, your different salmonellas or E. coli, then these are going to do the job and at least keep you, on your feet and moving in case of a situation where you have to be, moving quick and not, bunkered down by dysentery. So those will take care of that for you. They both weigh about 2 ounces. Now, the caveat there is that the Sawyer Mini weighs 2 ounces, but if you carry all that other equipment I previously showed you, the straw, the pouch, the backwash syringe, and everything else that's included, then it's going to weigh about 3.7 ounces total. So all in all, the LifeStraw as an all-in-one package does weigh a little bit less. However, the Sawyer Mini offers a little bit more utility because of the additional supplies. And to me, 3.7 ounces is worth having those additional items versus just saving 1.7 ounces to not. Let's see, they both use the same style of microbiological hollow fiber membrane system to filter out the contaminants. So it's a very similar style of filter. There's no difference in the concept or really how they work. And they also both cost about the same. $15 to $20 is going to get you in with either one of these filters. So, it's not a big price point difference for you to make a decision based on budget. It's really just going to be based on, what each one brings to the table for you. Okay. So that being said, now the main differences of these two filters. Okay. So the Sawyer Mini says that it filters an absolute 0.1 micron. Versus the LifeStraw says a 0.2 micron filtration. So what does that mean? It means that anything above 0.1 microns won't make it through the Sawyer Mini. Anything above 0.2 microns won't make it through the LifeStraw. Now, both of them filter out the same exact protozoa and the same exact bacteria, as well as the same amount of microplastics. So generally, the LifeStraw with the 0.2 micron filter is still going to be just as effective as the Sawyer Mini with the 0.1. And in fact, the LifeStraw will then benefit from a higher flow rate because of that. So the flow rate on the LifeStraw is about 3 liters per minute, according to the manufacturer, whereas the flow rate on the Sawyer Mini doesn't actually have anything listed on the manufacturer's website or description as to what it should be, but it looks like a lot of independent testing out there has kind of found it to be around 0.6 liters per minute, so much less flow rate on the Sawyer Mini. So I believe some of that's due to the smaller amount of microns it filters out, as well as just the size and the overall dimensions of both filters. That being said, the Sawyer Mini also comes with all those other attachments I already showed you. So in the difference of, price, you're getting a lot more for your money with this one, as well as having the ability to attach it in line to a water bladder system versus the LifeStraw just being exactly what it is, what you see right here. Now, the Sawyer Mini does say it can, filter up to 100,000 gallons of water. On the website, the LifeStraw likes to say it can filter at 1,000 gallons of water, whereas on the packaging, it also says 4,000 gallons of water. So I'm not really sure which one to go with there. But either way, they're both probably more in the realm of what the LifeStraw is saying. The Sawyer Mini can probably benefit because of using the backwash syringe and last longer. However, after 100,000 gallons of who knows what kind of water going through it, I believe those membranes would need some kind of a chemical cleaning in order to maintain their durability and their capability of filtering out all those different contaminants, whereas the LifeStraw I think is a little more realistic in its amount that it can filter. Neither one of them are actually tested through the NSF, which is going to be kind of like the end-all say-all on which one performs up to its name. And once they have that NSF certification, then they have to advertise based on what those results are versus just kind of being able to say whatever they want right now. Both of the items have done independent laboratory testing through different universities and different, third-party testing companies, and both of them came out with the same basic results of being able to filter out any of the contaminants that they claim they can, up to a decent amount of water, where in reality, if you're relying on these for a survival situation, you'll probably never get to a point where you use them so much that they no longer filter correctly. If you do get to that point, you should probably have yourself a much sturdier filtration system in place, and hopefully you're at a location versus just being on foot at that point. So those are the main differences between the two filters. And I think that you can see with the Sawyer Mini, just because it has so many other applications and so many other accessories that it comes with, that's kind of what put me over the edge to say I prefer this over the LifeStraw. Now, the only thing left to do here is just test out some of the different filtration capabilities that each one of these systems has. So what we're going to do is just use some of my beautiful North Dakota groundwater here that's full of tannins and, you know, different turbidity. So what we'll do is we'll use a Tds meter. We'll test each filter to see if it actually has an edge over the other and filtering out some of that nonsense. And if it doesn't, then, you know, that's good to know as well. But maybe this just gives us a little better idea of which one works better in that fashion. So we'll go ahead and move on to that phase of the video. Okay, so here we have our control water, and what that means is that it's filtered, purified water, and we're going to use the Tds meter just to kind of test how much total dissolved solids and parts per million there are inside of that water. I have a reverse osmosis system here installed in the house. It's usually that buzzing sound you hear in the background when I make my videos. Eventually I'll do a video on that system as an awesome way to kind of have a water storage solution while also purifying the water in your home. But for this purpose, it's basically pure water. And I'm going to use it as a control group for the filters. And then we're going to go ahead and test out some of the awesome non-filtered water I get out of my well here. So we'll go ahead and start by just grabbing this. TDS is already calibrated, so turn it on. It is showing 0, if you can actually see that. There we go. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and test it in the water here. Okay, and it's showing about 12 parts per million, which in my opinion is pretty awesome for the water that's, you know, coming out in every faucet in my home, as well as, you know, even in my toilet. So can't really complain about that. Now I'll go ahead and grab the test water and see if these filters can actually handle some of this awesome North Dakota groundwater we have. All right, so here's some of that North Dakota groundwater I was telling you all about. Basically, it's full of tannins and minerals, and it's going to have a lot of parts per million show up on the Tds meter. So I wanted to use it as a experimental water source for the filters to see if they can have any kind of an impact on it. I've got my Tds meter right here. It is calibrated to 0 right now. We'll go ahead and test out the water. All right, so it's shooting up, and it went over to 1,020 plus. So this Tds meter only goes up to 3 digits, but once it gets to this point, that's what we're sitting at. So I went ahead and held it, and you can see it's at 102, which it went over the 900 mark to reach. So we're at 1,020 plus ppms of total dissolved solids in the water, and we'll go ahead and see what the filters can do to make an impact on that number. Okay, so now just as a disclosure, these filters are not rated to remove heavy metals or minerals out of the water, but I just wanted to test it because I don't have any contaminated sewer water or anything laying around, and I thought it might be a good experiment just to see if they do have any kind of an impact on this type of water. So I'll go ahead and squeeze the water, which I've put into the pouch system here on the Sawyer Mini, through the filter into this clean glass, and then we'll test the Tds meter on it to see if it makes an impact. So we'll go ahead and open the mouthpiece here. I'm going to start squeezing there. Okay. Water's coming out much clearer. A lot of the tannins are gone. So the filter is definitely having some kind of an impact one way or another. And we've got enough for a test now. So I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. And let's go ahead and make sure our Tds meter is calibrated. All right. So looks like we are at 0. And I'll go ahead and test the water. Okay, so it's at 1,040 plus now. So whatever was in the filter, even though it's brand new, somehow it added a little bit more parts per million. That could have easily have been dust in the glass or something along those lines, but that's what I'm getting now, and that's what the meter says. So it looks like this filter didn't have any real sort of an impact on the amount of total dissolved solids inside of the water. However, it did make an impact on the tannins and the coloration of the water. As you can see, much clearer water came out of the filter than what was over here at our source. So I'm sure it actually improved the taste and the flavor of the water, although it didn't really remove any of the minerals. Okay, so here I have my new and improved LifeStraw system here using the Sawyer Mini water pouch attached to the LifeStraw via something I like to call duct tape. So I just wanted to do this experiment in the same exact fashion as the Sawyer Mini, and I figured the pouch was going to be the easiest way to push water through the filter versus having to craft some kind of a suction device. So I am going to put the water right into this clean glass, and we'll do the same exact test as before. We'll go ahead and remove the mouthpiece cover and just squeeze the water right into the same cup. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of a leak, but the main filtered water is still going into the glass, which, by the way, looks a lot better than the original water source. So, in the same fashion as the Sawyer Mini, it looks like we have cleared out some of the tannins and possibly some of the minerals there. Let's go ahead and do a Tds test to see what that tells us. So we are calibrated right now at 0, and we'll go ahead and test the water. Okay, so we're getting the same exact reading as the Sawyer Mini. So what that tells me is these filters are just as advertised, not rated to filter out minerals or heavy metals. But they have improved the color of the water quite drastically compared to its original source, which, I would in turn think would mean that it would taste better and be a little bit easier to stomach. And at the same time, it's actually doing something inside of the filter versus nothing at all. So the experiment told us exactly what we already knew. These filters don't filter out metals or minerals. However, they are changing some of the color of the water, showing that there is some kind of a cleansing process going on there. Okay, so what did we learn here today? Well, both of these filters are going to do the job that you buy them for. They're going to remove negative contaminants from whatever water source it is you're working with. They're going to get rid of things like Giardia, E. coli, and Salmonella, and they're going to keep you from getting sick while you're out in the survival situation that may arise. The other thing is that both of them failed at removing any minerals or, dissolved solids inside of the water that we tested here just a minute ago. Well, that's fine because they're not advertised to do so. So performance-wise, they're both going to be right on the same level as each other. The reason I choose the Sawyer Mini over the LifeStraw is because it comes with the additional accessories. It comes with the Mylar 16-ounce pouch. It comes with the ability to be threaded onto a 28mm thread, which is going to be most water bottles and soda bottles. It also comes with the Backwash Syringe so that you can extend the life of the filter a little bit longer. And it can be installed as an inline filtration system on your hydration pack. So the LifeStraw, what its main benefit would be, in my opinion, is the fact that it's an all-in-one package. So you pick it up and you walk out the door. I mean, there's no other parts to gather, there's no installation required, but it's limited in that same demand that it only can be functioned as a straw. So, that being said, for about the same price, for the bang for your buck, the Sawyer Mini is going to deliver more capability and give you more options when it comes to how you're going to filter your water out. And the LifeStraw, it's going to do its job. It's going to work for you in case you need it. And it's going to filter water just fine, but it doesn't have any of those additional options. So that's why I chose the Sawyer Mini. Hopefully you got to learn something by watching this video. I really appreciate you guys' support. It's been fun making these videos so far, and I hope to do a lot more down the road here. Going to review some more gear and show you some other items related to prepping and survival that I find to be important, or things that I found were interesting, at least in one way or another. So if there's anything else you want to add or suggest, go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section. Please subscribe and help me support this channel. And that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.